In cunning ways, the make-believe. Cunning ways, the shame. Flesh and spirit, you can use wicked hearts and cunning ways. Lord, you count the days. May my spirit be worthy for you. This society will always be as a drunken of the wine, controlling all the senses for understanding great divine. I will send fire to this land.
Peace and blessings. This is your brother Gabar, and this is IAMFITPodcast. M.G.G.W. Are you fit to go God's way? Let's go. You know, I'm curious on what's going to happen in 2024. Concern, yes. I have a family. If I was solo, I would be more excited because I'm crazy like that. However, though, I came across what you would call a governmental think tank manifesto. This is from the heritage, conservative movement that the Republicans and there's definite organizations that deal with think tanks and mission statements, what they're looking for the next 2 to 3, 10 years, what have you. And shalom, I see you there, brother Zedekiah. Brother Zedekiah, you're more than welcome. If you want to come in, I know you're I got the link below, so you could come in that way, or you could call in, whatever you feel comfortable. Brother Ricky, the same thing. And shalom, brother. Thank you for lending me your ears. So I came across this project called Project 2025. It is a right-wing manifesto that they want to implement day one after the election. Obviously, they're looking for a Republican president to be elected. Many people are looking towards this election as what's going to happen. Are we going to get a repeat on 2020, or President Trump would come back to the office? The polls are in his favor, but the polls were in his favor in 2020, and you know what happened. And so I want to first set the backdrop on this 2025 project, right? And basically all the people, the Democrats and the left-wing people are saying it is bad, this is not good. We should have a conversation about this because it is, let's see here. Okay. So the first time I saw this, I'm going to play this video, was on this, there's a gentleman here that he's on, I believe, TikTok, Woods Own, I believe, if his channel. Shout out to him. And it was presented as a negative thing. So it's like, okay, let me look into it, what it is. So let me first set the stage for you guys know what I'm talking about. I want to read a little bit on this Project 2025, but it is, let me adjust this a little bit. It's a little too big here. Boom, boom. There you go. Okay. And fair use. Let me put it over here. Fair use.
Are single mothers the new government target?
Project 2025 doesn't just demonize single mothers, it wants to change policies to punish single moms and perhaps even remove children from single parent households. Don't take my word for it, let me show you. Their top priority is promise number 1, restoring the family as the centerpiece of American life.
Okay.
And they specifically call out unmarried mothers as a reason that the American family is in crisis.
That's true.
400 pages later, when you get to their section on the Department of Health and Human Services, you see that they want to rewrite what the definition of a family is to be comprised of a married mother and father and their children.
I'll support that.
Saying that currently Health and Human Services is too focused on LGBTQ plus equity and subsidizing single motherhood. And saying that these policies should be repealed and replaced by policies that support the formation of stable married nuclear families. It's not enough to be heterosexual, by the way, because they also call out homes with non-related boyfriends as being one of the most dangerous places for a child. And they don't much like surrogacy either. In the context of emerging reproductive technologies, Health and Human Services should never place the desire of adults over the right of a child to be raised by the biological fathers and mothers who conceived them. Here's a horrifying paragraph. The Secretary of Health and Human Services anti-discrimination policy statements should never conflate sex with gender identity or sexual orientation. Rather, the Secretary should proudly state that men and women are biological realities that are crucial to the advancement of life sciences and medical care, and that married men and women are the ideal natural family structure because all children have a right to be raised by the men and women who conceived them. They also want to promote reunification as a part of child support, which is terrifying for domestic violence survivors. And they want to institute a healthy marriage and relationship education program in every state-level high school in America, with curriculum on healthy marriages. Oh, I wasn't kidding about child support either. Child support in the United States should strengthen marriage as the norm, restore broken homes, and encourage unmarried couples to commit to marriage. There's also a line in here that basically says that if you're the parent of a transgender child, that is child abuse. And if everything I've read hasn't sounded too bad, you haven't been reading between the lines, and this line here should clear it up. But the pro-family promises expressed in this book and central to the next conservative president's agenda must go much further than the traditional narrow definition of family issues. Every threat to family stability must be confronted. This resolve should color each of our policies. And any family that's not a heterosexual married family, that's a threat to them.
So I was looking at this. Okay, they're presenting this. I think I see. Let me see here. Zedekiah, I think I see you coming in through Zoom. Okay. Let me know when your audio is rendering. It's rendering now. I'll be able to see it in a few minutes. So when I first saw this, right, I said, okay, what is this Agenda 2025, right? And it's let's hear other commentaries and other people that are talking about this, right? Fair use.
All right, y'all, welcome to the show. I have a really, really fun one for you today, if I'm being honest. So we're going to start with something serious. I have to break down for you what's called Project 2025, which is an amalgamation of right-wing think tanks. They got together and they decided, here's the agenda for the next Republican president. Now, they're all thinking it's likely going to be Trump, but even if it's not Trump, if it's DeSantis or Vivek Ramaswamy, they have a plan to hit the ground running and get their policy objectives accomplished very, very quickly. So I need to lay out for you what those policy objectives are. And I got to be honest, this is terrifying. This is the far right being more organized than we've ever seen them before. And there's organizational structure, and they basically have a government in waiting, so that the second a Republican gets elected, in the first 180 days, they can go in there and clean house. So we're going to talk about that. I'm going to lead with that in just a second. We also have an impeachment inquiry into Biden has officially been launched. We'll talk about that. I have some reaction from Democrats, and then the really fun stuff, in my opinion, Breaking Points did a focus group in New Hampshire of Republican voters, and we have content to react to for days. And then we have the Young Turks. Michael Shore went to a Trump rally and interviewed some of the people there.
So basically, and let me see if I could bring in Brother Zedekiah. Brother Zedekiah, can you hear me? I think you come in. Hold on, wait 2 seconds. Let me do this. I think you also bring. You have it mute on your end, but I don't know if you call me through your computer. I think the audio is rendering, so I'll wait until it rendering. So,
I'm right here.
okay, outstanding. So I want to read a little bit Matter of fact, if I could, I want to email it to you so you could also follow along. Have you heard about this agenda 2025? What is your thoughts about it? Concerns or indifferent?
I mean, I haven't heard of it before you mentioned it, but it sounds good. I hope it's not, Trojan horse.
Right, and so it looks like, and I'm going to read a little bit of it over here. This is almost 1,000 page long, so it's very detailed. But I want to read a little bit about it. I want the audience and yourself to let me know, what do you guys think, right? So we in this manifesto, I think we're in page 36 of a 920 pages. So it's almost 1,000, short of 1,000, 80 of 1,000, right? It says, today the American family is in crisis. 40% of all children are born to unmarried mothers, including more than 70% of black children. There is no government program that can replace the hole in a child's soul cut out by the absence of a father. Fatherless is one of the principal sources of American poverty, crime, mental illness, teen suicide, substance abuse, rejection of churches, and high school dropout. So many of the problem government programs are designed to solve don't, but it can't. And ultimately, programs created by this crisis of marriage, and the family, the world has never seen a thriving, healthy, free, and prosperous society where most children grow up without their married parents. If this current trend continues, we are heading towards a social implodement, right? We are imploring. The country is going to collapse, right? Let me read another statistics what they are saying, right? Like, I would never have thought that I would live in the day that the Republicans are the good guys, right? Or the right win, right? Paragraph, page 483, it says, working fathers are essential to a well-being and development of their children. But the United States is experiencing a crisis of fatherlessness that is ruining our children's future. In the overwhelming numbers of cases, fathers isolate children from physical and sexual abuse. So when you have a father in the home, they usually protect the child from those type of situations, right? It says, from abuse, financial difficulty, or poverty, integration, I can pronounce that word, teen pregnancy, poor educational outcomes, high school failure, and most of behavioral and physical, psychological problems. By contrast, homes with non-related boyfriends parents are among the most dangerous place for a child. The number one cases when kids are getting molested is by a boyfriend, a male who is not biologically related to that child. Parents are among the most boyfriend parents are among the most dangerous place for a child to be. The HAC should prioritize marriage, father engagement in their in mention health and welfare, and in welfare politics, whatever that says, right? So what is it? What is this all saying? What is this all saying? They are looking at all, and when you read in more detail, they go into the programs that were established in the 60s and 70s to help mothers with public assistance and things of that nature, but the requirement was the father cannot be at home, right? They had mentioned that has not worked. That has ruined America. So it looks like so everything that they're saying makes logical sense, right? Is making we have data now to show that the way we have been doing it is not working. I mean, 70% of all African American children being born today is from a single household. 70%. That's double from a white counterpart. So I think we have to have a conversation. Should we be looking at the 2024 election? Because if they have a majority Republican House and they have a Republican president, they should be able to achieve what they're looking to achieve. I don't know if it is a Trojan horse scenario like you mentioned, but the deep state is extremely upset at this. The deep state is extremely upset at this. I want to also, because it's not like we do not know this. I want to play this video. This is from this documentary by Ricky Mack. This is from Zoom to Thailand. Shout out to him. He did a documentary. It's about an hour and 4 minutes long. I'll put it in the comment section. And he took different women from different walks of life, different racial group, black, white, Hispanic, and to address the crisis of what's going on in America today of single mother homes, right? Fair use.
The first baby daddy was a one-night stand in college. Oops, my bad. So I'm just now really learning his information, his name and all that. And then the second one, I called myself trying to find a father for that first one and ended up not getting the father, but getting 2 more babies. I think it does have a negative downplay on the way that I see men because I'm so, consumed with doing all this, taking care of everybody, making sure everybody's up to school on time and doing homework and having to pay all the bills and, bring home the bacon, slaughter the pig, clean up the kitchen. I got to do everything. And so I kind of view other men like, you probably a deadbeat, you don't take care of your kids, you don't do this, you don't do that. I'm sure of it because if you did, I would see car seats in the back of your crib. And I just have that in my head that they already don't do right, and that's not fair, but it probably is the damn truth. They probably do got 3 kids stashed away that they don't take care of, and I'm just the one that's gonna call you out on it. Oops, my bad. Am I coming off as a bitter black woman?
Do I feel any pressure because I'm not married yet? Well, no, my mom is fiercely independent.
Right. So let me play this video because now, because I want to jump around. I want to focus on that sister that I placed a first feature. What kind of man is she looking for, right? So remember, she said she got 3 kids. She met one child is from a one-night stand in college. Oops, right? She said that, and then she met another gentleman who actually she had 2 more children with, so she has 3 altogether, right? Now, Richie Mack, he asked her, "What kind of man are you looking for?" Right? Fair use.
My perfect man would be a tall black stallion. He loves to cook because I'm not really a good cook, so that's his thing. He loves driving. He loves driving the kids to school in the morning. He's just really, really hands-on, with my kids. He's sterile because he can't have kids of his own, so he really cherishes mine. He's funny. We do movie quotes all the time. Every time we go around, we just laugh and do karaoke. He's smart. He is very good with the money. He takes care of all that, and he just lets me, make the beds and just do me.
Okay, let me make sure I got this right. He has to be a tall black stallion that loves to cook, loves driving the kids to school in the morning, sterile, funny, hands-on, laughs, karaoke, smart, movie quotes, and lets you make the beds.
You get that, fellas?
All right.
Last time I was in a serious relationship was when I moved
Right.
out here
So-
in Philly.
so-
It was
Now,
wonderful.
at the end of this documentary, right, I want to play this because, and they were showing the quiz, and then, I think it was about 5 women they were featuring, right? And she was one of them, right? And they were from different races, black, white, Hispanic, and others. And I want you guys to pick up what was the outcome. Now, remember what she wanted, right? She wanted a tall man that knows how to cook. Now, wait a minute. If you right now, you're cooking for your kids because you have to, right? And you're saying, well, I'm not a well cook, but she's cooking anyway because she has to do it with the kids. Why would she not want to cook for a man? Well, I don't really like to cook. So she's looking for a tall man, right? Probably over 6 feet that knows how to cook, got the money right, everything else. She this woman delusional, but I want you guys to pick up one thing at the end, right?
A few cocktails, not too many, because I don't want to be drunk. So then from there, we're going to go to a little karaoke bar where we're going to sing.
So the question, when you see the entire documentary, he asked her what would be the perfect date, right? And she's describing that.
Right away, and then after that, we can either go to your place or mine. It doesn't matter because I got a sitter, and I don't have to be back until 7 when the sun comes up.
For a man.
So you see that? Winter is expecting her 4th child. So now she has 4 children, right? 4 children by 3 different men, right? And I hope this last situation, right? It didn't say that, she's engaged. They're expecting a 4th child, her 1st child, his 1st or his 3rd, right? It could be not. Now she's in the same situation. Sister, you should get an acceptomy. Cut the tube, mama. Because if you don't have enough common sense to wrap it up or birth control, you're in your 30s. You don't have enough common sense to say, wait a minute, before this moment, this man ejaculated inside my body, right? And I'm still fertile. I could still have children. I should wrap it up, get some birth controls, right? And these women come across as being such, in control, mature, intelligent, common sense type of women, but these women are destroying themselves, and more importantly, these women are the poster child why the Project 2025, right, it is necessary. Like I said, I didn't read the whole thing. I read a decent amount of it, right, and it could be some Trojan horse there, right? It could also be a scenario that this is part of the God's plan to bring this country down. That could probably be one of the things. But what say you, brother, in regards to what you heard? Do you think that Project 2025 is onto something? Is it needed, or you want to hold your peace until you do more research?
I think first and foremost, that woman is a great example of a woman that hasn't learned her lesson.
Right.
So she doesn't have discernment in that aspect. So she's just gonna continue to basically ruin her life and ruin her children's life in turn. But I feel like what Project 2025 has coming for us is something that's new, that we haven't really explored before. I mean, in a sense, it kind of sounds a bit communistic.
Yeah.
But what has worked for us in the past was patriarchal society, where men had established the rules in the household. And if you didn't have a husband to do that, then it was your father. And, other than that, I just got to look into it more, because I feel like it can be a Trojan horse for a communistic type of government.
Yeah, and this is the problem, I believe, with the right in America, is that it gets promoted and it gets they're not more inclusive within the African American Latino community, because many people of color are Christians and are Bible best believers, but if the majority of the children that are being born, 70%, according to the statistic, which is true, within the African American community, should there not be more African American being in the face of this? Because when I looked at the people that are behind this, they're all white men. They're all, white Republicans. And I don't have a problem with white Republicans, but I think there's always been a a concern, a hesitation within the black community to identify with that party. Now, for me, I'm not a politician. I'm not into politics. I voted for Christ years ago. He is my Lord and Savior. He's the guy that I voted for. And I'm not here to promote any candidate in any way. But to man going God's way, do you think it's going to be a situation, because they're looking at this as the most horrible things? You know, every video, every article that I read upon this, they are promoting this as negative, as the worst thing ever. I was like, what? I'm trying to figure out what's going on here, right? Because they're saying that we should promote fathers staying with the mothers. We should incentivize mothers to stay with their husband, not to divorce him and give her benefits or something to stand on if she decides to leave him or what have you. And I'm not saying that there's not abusive men out there, and we need to protect women from that. But that's not the majority of marriages. The majority of marriages don't work out because of women like this. High standard, unrealistic standards, right? I would love to have talked to the man that she had 2 children with, right? Why he left. He's trying to see his child? Because a lot of times when you get the woman's version of the equation, right, it's a totally different picture from the man. The man trying to see his child, she always gives him a problem, yada, yada, yada. There's always an issue with him, too, that affects the relationship. So we need to have, and they're talking about training and courses with a young woman in high school level in regards of marriage and responsibility. That sounds like good to me, but you're right. It's always concerning. You know, when there are 3 words, these words you never want to hear. We're the government and we're here to help you, right? So anybody wants to call in, the number is 267-358-0879, or we could come into the Zoom, or you could call into Zoom, whatever's more comfortable for you. But this is what I'm thinking. I think we have to start looking at 2020, the 24 election. I don't know, last week you saw the preview for that movie, Civil War. It's supposed to be coming out next year, early next year. Yeah. And within the Civil War, let me get the Civil War map. Let me see if I think I have it here somewhere. Civil War.
I think the movie was called A24. I might be wrong.
A24, right. A24, right. Yeah. And there's a map that the movie put together. Let me get it here. Come on. I'm getting some internet issues. Just bear with me, guys. So basically, in the map, the theoretical map of this movie is Texas is the home base. So so I guess in this movie, what's gonna be happening? Let me just put this up real quick. I don't know what's going on with my internet. Is going. Where is this map here? Where is the map? Where is the map? Okay, here we go. Bear with me, guys. We're having some technical issues with the internet. Let me put it over here. I want to blow it up for the people to see it. But so this is right here. This is the map. Let me see if it comes up. I see Brother Ricky coming in. Let me bring him in as well. Okay, let me see if I can get this map here. Where is the map? Okay, hold on 2 seconds. Well, here's the map. Let me show you guys the map right here. So basically, it is Texas is the Republican side, and or the is one side of the is the home base on one side, and then you have California is the liberal side. I think that's the way they broke it down. And then you got these other states. Let me see if this comes up. For some reason, but this is what. Let me see. This is it right here. I think. Well, let me get it real quick. Let me see if I could get it real quick. Bear with me. For some reason, my internet is acting up. Well, let me blow this up. I'll do this. Okay, here we go. Okay, so let me put it over here for the audience to see it. Okay, so you have the second republic, the Republic of California. So you got Texas is home base for, I guess, the conservative, and then California is the home base for the liberal, and then the Western forces are with California, and you got the Florida Alliance. They're down with Texas, and then you got the Loyalists. They're separate from both. So America, and this is kind of funny because this is showing that this remind me of that scripture in the Bible when it says that the city will be split in three, right? It's probably unrelated. I'm not saying it is, but it just reminds me to that. Because you have the loyalist state, they're staying with the original constitution that we have now. The Florida states and those in down south with Texas are uniting, and then you got California uniting with the north portion of America. And what say you, brother? And brother Rick, are you on? Could you hear me?
Yes,
Hey, Shalom, brother. So what you got to add to this conversation? What say you? What do you think is going on here? Do you think it's a good thing, bad thing? This thing is it a setup? What say you?
I say it's a little bit of both, good and bad. What we do know, and a lot of people know about, is that our white counterparts, they're not reproducing in a very high rate, so they're on a high decline than what most people think, and so they need a way to make sure that they keep, their nationality going. On top of that, a lot of rich, wealthy men are losing money due to this so-called woke epidemic that's going on. So they need to get things back on track where they can get their money back right, because movies don't went down to all-time low. Production in a lot of companies have went down because they're trying to do affirmative action, just putting women in positions just because you're a woman, and you got a business to run. Things are not looking. So on one hand, it does look good, but anytime even though if they want to do good, there's what we call deep state. They're pushing their narrative regardless. The show must goes on. So, all I can say is for those that's in the truth, well, stay with the Most High, do what you need to do, get prepared, and get out of Dodge. That's all I can say.
Exactly, and you're right, because brother, I want to hear you. I want to hear your thoughts, but you something came to mind. You know how that the drug epidemic was always in the ghetto for years, right? And then it became the war on drugs when we were addicted to drugs. But then when the drug epidemic began to cross over to the suburbs, now it became a crisis that we have to deal with. Before it was a war that we had to fight and destroy and kill, war, right? But when it went into Billy and Sally neighborhood, now it became a crisis that we have to deal with. So maybe this is kind of like the same thing, right? That now this wokeness is affecting the powers that be, the infrastructure, right? The white race, the majority, and those that are in financial positions. You're right that it's even hurting their pockets. Now they have to switch it around, but throw in the black issue, the 70%. I mean, think about it. They're addressing this when it's affecting them when it's hitting 49% or 40% of their community, right? But they have not said anything when it was 50% in our community, 60% in our community. Now it's all the way to 70%, right? That means that it could continue going to almost 100%. When would it have become a crisis to talk about it when the black community got into the percentage of the 50s, the 60s, and now when it's up to almost over closer to 70 or above, it's coming to a theater near you, so to speak. I want to make sure I'm giving the right quotes here. Let me get the right quotes. It's today in America is 40%. So you notice they don't say 40% of the white family. They say 40% of all Americans are born to unmarried mothers, including more than 70% of black families. So wait a minute, we're not Americans either? Why is always a separate percentage, right, when it comes to the black community? But it says all American. How could you, that doesn't make any sense. How can it be all Americans, 40% of all children are born to unmarried mothers? And then it separates, comma, including more than 7% of black children. Are we not all Americans? Right? So we have to have a real conversation on what's going on here in regards what is the agenda. And you're right. That's why you should be extremely cautious. You should be very, I would say, not optimistic, but pessimistic when you read these things, and very critical thinking when you hear these things and support these things, because who is it really affecting? Every single time these type of programs comes around, the last people that get benefit from it is our people. I mean, 70%. Shouldn't that be a crisis from years from now? I mean, years ago?
Right.
Why now, when it's affecting the white population, 40%? Right? Because they're saying, okay, if this continues, 40% is 10% less than half. And if it gets to half, it could go to 60. It could continue. So they are really nipping this in the butt when it gets to their community to 70% to 40%. But they were not saying anything. Well, it was 40% in our community. You have to read between the lines. What say you guys?
You know, when it comes to the LGBTQ community, they always, I mean, I don't know if you guys see it just as much as I do, but the one or two gay people in a movie or show has to be black, or transsexual has to mostly be black. And I remember that article you were reading, it said that if you're a parent of a transsexual, then that's child abuse. So that's already automatically putting black homes in the cross eyes of what exactly?
Right. And it's one of those things that they have show studies that when kids are born with two parents that are in the LGBTQ community, it does create some tension there, because, you know, they don't have a mommy, or they don't have a daddy. They got two daddies, two mommy. It is, we have data now. We have a history of people adopting children of with the gay or transgender community. And there's issues there. There's issues. You know, kids are making fun of them in high school. Where's your mommy? Where's your daddy? And things of that nature. I'm not condoning that. But the best scenario, regardless whether you're gay or straight, the data shows that the best chance for a child to be a well-developed person, a citizen of our society, is if he or her was raised by a father and a mother, the nuclear family. And they are attacking the nuclear family. That's why in every article I saw, it was always promoting this as a negative thing. Why is that? Why is everybody afraid of the nuclear family? It is the bedrock of every society that ever existed previously. The concept of a father going to work and the mother staying home with the children has been the best scientific, productive system to move a nation forward. It's illogical for us to at least say, okay, we cannot find a nuclear family with a child, okay, or that nuclear family is toxic. The father's an alcoholic, or he's this, or he's that, and many times we have to also so the mother is also an issue. I think 55% of abused homes or homes that are there's violence, domestic violence, it comes from the man, but 42% of the time it comes from the woman. So that's very close. Yeah, and the size of the man being toward anger, violent towards the woman is much higher, but 42% of the time is the woman being abusive, and 9 times out of 10, the men do not report it. The women do not get arrested. There's no counseling or organization to protect the man from a violent woman, right? So we have to have a real conversation about, okay, both of us, man and woman, are responsible for raising this child. And both of us should be held accountable for our mistakes, not only just the man. Because in every scene, and especially in these type of, romantic comedy scenarios, always a single mother with a bad ex-husband, and you got this blue-collar worker guy comes in, and he's the hero, and he's taking care of the child and being a father to him, and the father's not around. But yet, statistically, the most dangerous place for a child to be is to be raised by his mother's boyfriend or fiance. Molestation's happening, abuse, right? That's why in the Hebrew culture, that if you have a family and God forbid I pass away, right? It was culture for a man for that family to be adopted by the brother, the cousin, somebody within the family. Because if I had to take on the responsibility of my late brother's family, those are my nephews. They're not strangers to me. They're not, non-blood related, right? I'm going to have just as much love as they were mine because they're my nephews. It makes perfect sense to establish that. When you bring in these families and things of that nature, and I'm not saying that when you don't, you could have a mixed family, right? The man has a child or children, she has children that come together, like the Brady Bunch. That could work sometime. And that's usually the case when it is better. When you have a mother that has children and then she brings in a boyfriend and that don't have the experience of being a father, don't have the knowledge of being a father, it's usually a train wreck. What say you guys?
First, I would like to address the fact of the reason why they separate black people from the rest of the American group, because they know they got to keep their eye on us. And the other thing that people are not aware of, which some people watch Media Man or Dennis Berlin, a lot of our sisters are having children with men that's outside of the black community. So all these extra kids that's going on, most of them ain't even black. 55% of young black men today don't even have kids. And they see that and plus, black men are right behind white men when it comes to millionaires in this country, believe it or not. And they're seeing that black men are not buying into the game anymore. They're not finding some woman, getting married to her, and buying into the system. Most men have stopped dealing with the system. Either they just working and taking care of what they need to take care of, and most of these brothers taking their behinds across the water. So they, in order to keep this country going, because right now inflation is on high, they need that money to come back to the States, because everything is always about the money when it comes to the government.
Right.
So when you pull the curtain back, why are they putting this referendum in there? Because right now, America is almost dead, or basically deleted, because of the way that all this Me Too stuff and, men ain't this, put him on child support, take all his money. And if they keep allowing this mess to go on, you have a bunch of women just screaming, and then a bunch of women going to be homeless. And then what? So that's one angle. And the other thing, a lot of our, when it comes to this country, number one, they know who we are. Nevertheless, they're not going to ever say it. So they just need a way just to keep us underneath their fingernails. But at the same time, if the black men get to a point where we're not buying into their system anymore, they done lost everything, because they know don't nothing rock unless Judah rock it.
Yeah.
Now you're at that.
Yeah, because I think we have to, and I was speaking to a brother today, and he if you guys see him on the Discord, I sent him the link. He's a new brother who's going to be coming in, man going God's way. Was dealing with a sister who was being disrespectful, constantly antagonizing him, constantly being in a situation that he's not happy. I drilled the brother to make sure that he was not giving me a version that it was, his version and so forth. So don't have any kids, which is great, because that's where I'm looking to hopefully get to. I'm looking for that population between 20 and 40 years old, right? Because after 40, 50, 60, and so forth, so on, it's kind of hard to undo those mistakes, right? And usually when you're that age, the kids are out the house, you probably don't want to have any more kids and so forth, so on. So I'm trying to protect the man and tell man, listen, if you are respectful less environment, if you don't feel respected, if your wife is always, or your girlfriend or your fiance is not cooperative, it's always backbiting and always being a problem. Okay, I'm hearing that the sister left and came back about 3, 4 o'clock in the morning, not knowing he didn't know what she was at, and so forth, so on. He's preparing for the lease to be over and to get out of that situation. We have to get away from the madness, man. We have to get away. And I think what is happening, especially within the Christian community, the Christian community is using the guilt of the Bible to keep these men and these disrespectful relationship with these women are running amok. That's not your wife. That's your adversary. And when things hit the fan, Christ made it clear, those are your very own household will be your greatest foes. You have to make sure, you have to look at your wife's eyes and say, listen, are you with me? Are you with me? Are you going to be ride or die with me? I have to be able to trust you. I have to be count on you. If you guys are always back and forth because she's always criticizing everything you're doing wrong, run. Run. Because this is not the time for you to put yourself in a predicament that the woman you love and the woman you with will turn on you, will call the authorities on you, will start calling people against you and ruin you. Look what's going on with what's his name? What's that actor that got caught up with the
Jonathan Majors.
Jonathan Majors. Over a phone call or something he got and things of that nature. And listen, brothers, if you're not a monogamous, stop portraying like you are a monogamous. You got to be straightforward with the women. Listen, you're not going to be the only one. You could be my first or my second or my third. It's up to you, but you're not going to be my only one. And men have to stop hiding the fact that, listen, you're not going to be enough for me, because what happened is a lot of brothers would play a monogamous role, but with the woman they're with, they're not 100% sure that's the woman they're going to be with. So they'll have other potential women on the side, just in case this situation is not working out. And the reason why they have to do that and they're doing that is because the situation they're with is toxic, or there's issues here and there. So you have to be honest with these women and say, listen, you're not the only one. I'm trying out. That's why you got to get your money right. You have to get your environment right. Start ownership, property, own a land. Know how to cultivate that land. Learn to say, okay, before I could take care of it, I could take care of anybody. But before I become a caregiver that I'm taking care of a family, I have to be sustained myself. I have to be able to sustain myself without no help from no woman. Okay, you pay half the rent, I pay the other half. I'm not against that if you have a woman who's down with you. But you have to be in a situation that you can sustain yourself, and then whatever woman brings in is only an addition. It is an attachment or an advancement, not a clutch, not a liability. We're no longer going to be sugarcoating this situation. Men have to start telling women what they want, and that if those women are not doing what those men are asking for, and it's constantly a pull and push scenario, brother, you are sleeping with the enemy. And when we come together, and when things collapse, and we out there, and we are creating our own separate scenario, we're going to be able to trust each other, right? We're going to be able to look out for each other. But the wives themselves also have to be able to trust each other. And we have to also trust each other's wife, right? And we have kids, hey, brother, could your wife, look over my kids? I got to go to work, or could you babysit? And the kids are going to get to know each other, right? We have to train ourselves and train our family to say, listen, it is us against the world. But it first starts with the men. We have to establish something first among us, right? Among us, we have to establish something. Because it's coming, man. Look closely what's going on in this election, because there may be a situation, they may steal it again. There may be that scenario, right? And then the right will get upset, bear arms, and maybe the movie Civil War or 2024, whatever the movie's called, it's a predicament of what's going to happen in the future. And we, as Bible believers, man going God's way, especially the chosen Israelite people of God, have to be set apart. We have to get away from what's going on politically, but we have to constantly do what? As our Messiah said, watch, because you do not know when the end is near. Let's read some scripture, brother. You got the Bible with you? Let's go to Matthew 24, if you don't mind.
Yes, sir. You said Matthew 24?
Matthew 24, yes, sir. So let's go there real quick. Let's get the scriptures real quick. Let me see if I could do this.
I'm there.
Okay. So let's get the scriptures real quick. Let me see if I could get the scriptures. So, Brother Ricky, man, so how's Florida? What is the political climate over there? Fill us in on what's going on that side of the world.
Well, Florida's a very mixed state. We don't have many people from both California and New York move down and tear the state up, and so I see it's kind of split in half in the state of Florida, as far as those that want Trump back and those who want the status quo of this so-called wokeness stuff. And but what seems to be going on is more people starting to lean towards wanting Trump back, because they see how all of the stuff that is going on is affecting them in different ways. It's affecting their finances. It's affecting their lifestyles. It's affecting their families. And therefore, with that being the case, there's no win in that. You working for the same amount of money, and they're taking out more taxes because they want to go indulge in issues that got nothing to do with this country itself. We got over a million, or well over 5+ million people who are influxed into the country, and we're just paying out of our pockets for it. So right now, I believe it's split, but like you said, when that time comes for everybody to go to that ballot box, who knows what they'll do? You know, with all the evidence they done got out, you know, and people not paying attention to the big picture of, okay, the government can literally tell you in your face that this is water, but yet they're pouring pee on your head. And it's not looking good, because see what situation we're in right now as a whole. And I guess we can hope for better, but I ride for the Most High. So if this supposed to be how it ends, then hey, tough butt.
Absolutely. And this is the reason why, and brother Zedekiah, I appreciate your statement about the Trojan horse, right? Because Christ stated that the first thing you must do when they asked him what is the end of the world, what is the sign of your coming, right? Verse 4, he made it clear, says, and Yeshua answered and said unto them, take heed that no man deceive you. That's the first thing. So you have to make sure you read the fine print. You have to make sure that you read between the lines, right? And you are right. Every single time there is a problem that is affecting them, they throw us in the front. Well, this is affecting the black community too. Look, 70% of, it's been 70%. When you've been saying something, now it's getting to 40% in your community. Now it's becoming a crisis. And I'm not saying that they may not be good people trying to do a good thing there, but sometimes, I believe there's not a plan. There is plans, plural. Everybody has a plan. The Vatican has a plan. The Israeli state has a plan. The Democrats have a plan. The Republicans have a plan. The United States have a plan. Russia has a plan. China has a plan. Canada has a plan. Everybody has a plan, but what is our plan? What are we doing? What are we doing to prepare? So let's go to the scripture real quick. Let's go to Matthew 24, verse 4. And let's pick it up at verse 4. And let's read down what Christ the Messiah told us. Because this is coming, 2024. It is that year, I believe. We have to be prepared for anything. There may be another 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 presidents. I don't know. But let's prepare. Let's be ready. Make sure that you have a conversation with your family. And if you are pulling teeth with your wife in regards of this, brother, that's not your wife. That's your adversary. Let's read.
Matthew chapter 24, verse 4. And Jesus answered and said unto them, take heed that no man deceive you. For many shall come in my name, saying, I am Christ, and shall deceive many.
So the majority of the deception is going to come from the Christian churches. And why not? Look what's going on, all that accusation with T.D. Jakes and Puff Daddy, and nothing hidden will never be. Nothing is hidden will never be revealed. Whatever is hidden is going to be revealed. You can lie to the people sometimes, but you can't lie to the people all the time. Right? Jada Pinkett Smith and Will Smith, their ex-existing bodyguard or whatever is coming out that, all this is Will Smith has been a homosexual man. And I'm not, I don't know what's the truth here. Allegedly, I don't know. But the bottom line is whatever is hidden is going to come to light. Right?
Right.
So be careful about these Christian churches that are not addressing these issues and are praying for America to continue forever. God bless America. Heal this country, Lord. Bring your blessings into this country. Bring your holiness to this country. That's not scriptural. Right? The only country I'm looking to wait for, I'm praying for, is the country of Christ. Is the kingdom of Christ when he established it. We only visitors here, right? We only just waiting until our kingdom come, right? Verse 26.
Verse 26.
Yes, sir.
All right. Wherefore, if they shall say unto you, Behold, he is in the desert.
No, verse 6. I'm sorry. I think I
Oh.
said 26, verse 6.
All right.
So like, yeah.
And
you
ye shall hear
rumors.
of
Yep.
wars and rumors of wars. See that ye be not troubled, for all these things must come to pass, but the end is not yet.
That's why men got to be in charge, because women get trouble, they panic when they hear wars or women wars. When we have men, masculine men, men that are sure, spiritually guided by the Most High, we do not get a trouble when we hear these things. We get motivated, and that's what we need. That's why women have to start leaning on these strong men and stop thinking that when a man is being strong and assertive, that he's somehow being toxic. Okay? Stop being intimidated or bothered by that. Right? Stay in your place. Understand that there's certain things apply to you and there's other things that apply to the man, and that is leading that family. Right? Verse 7.
For nation shall rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom, and there shall be famines and pestilences and earthquakes in diverse places.
And when you see nation against nation, it doesn't have to necessarily be racial war, although that's a factor as well. It's just nation means people, just people against people, ideology against ideology. Don't get caught up with that, right? Verse 8.
All these are the beginning of sorrows. Then shall they deliver you up to be afflicted, and shall kill you.
So you have to be willing and get mentally ready to die. You know, when they asked Malcolm X, I think days before they killed him, he said, yeah, I already accepted my death. I already accepted I'm a dead man. I walk around like I'm already dead, like I'm accepting that reality, right? You have to, put yourself in that situation. Right? I'm not saying don't use wisdom, but you have to be willing to die, because Christ said many of you will get killed. Right? Verse 10.
I'm going to finish 9 real quick.
Yes, sir.
And ye shall be hated of all nations for my name's sake.
Exactly. So the word Christian, or I believe in God, I believe in Christ, I believe in the Messiah, is going to be considered that you are in some weird cult, you're in some weird... That's some, they're trying to get rid of the Bible. Look at the pushback on this Project 2025, because it's a Christian-based type of scenario. They're saying that we should, they mentioned that fatherless homes is a high percentage of children are not going to church or believing in God. That's also a fact as well. Right? That's why the churches are full with women and beta men. But where the kids at? They're out in the street. They ain't going to church, because they bring in that feminine energy with the gospel and the singing and the crying and all that. Men don't operate that way. Right? So we have to start taking a stand and calling out the foolishness and the false prophet, as the scripture says. Read verse 10, brother, if you don't mind.
And then shall many be offended, and shall betray one another, and shall hate one another.
And that's what I'm saying. Betray. Your weakest link is your woman. So you have to make sure that your weakest link is strong enough to resist that pressure, because it only takes one link to be weak. So you have to make sure that you're constantly communicating with her and nurturing her and building her right in the right state of mind. Right? Honesty. Don't hide anything from your wife. Don't create a scenario that she has to be wondering whether you're gonna be there the next day or not. Don't create a scenario that you're unstable, in and out of jobs, in and out of the jail, in and out of the streets. If you are still living that lifestyle, don't be trying to promote my show to your wife and you out there can't hold a job and talk about, well, good boy, man, say I'm in charge of the household. You are defiling yourself in this show. I don't want to be associated with brothers like that. Get your life together. Make sure you have it. You have a scenario that you're in charge. Listen, certain homes, sometimes it has to be a 2-income home. I get that. That's no problem. But make sure that you look at her money, you look at your money, you put it everything together. Okay, this baby, we're gonna put 33% for the bills, 33% for savings, and 33% for leisure, right? Or really, the savings supposed to be investment. The way you're supposed to divide your money is 30% is to bills, 30% is for investment, right? Hey, baby, let's open up an Airbnb, right? Let's open up a side hustle, right? And the other 30% is for leisure. Go on vacation, go on to movies, dinner, get a babysitter, go out for a nice, I have no problem with that. That's part of you guys psychologically having a us against them mentality when you are nurturing your wife in the right direction, or your wives, if you have more than one, right? Because those that are going to be offended are the one that are going to betray you. So you have to make sure that your wife and you are on the same page. She's prepared. You're taking her to the gun range. You're teaching her how to shoot. Okay, you're putting a good security system in your home. You do drills. You talk about if this happened, this is what we were going to meet. When this happened, this is what we're going to do. Because when women usually are in the best state of mental state is when they're secure. When you provide a secure home, a stable home, that's when they're in the best. But when they're unstable, and then because they see you unstable, okay, then that's when they become unstable, right? Let's keep reading.
And many false prophets shall rise and shall deceive many.
So if you were the church, right, pastor so-and-so, prophet, bishop so-and-so, you have to have these conversations with this pastor because he's a shepherd of the flock. If he's more talking about, prosperity doctrine, or we're going to get this contract with the government, and they're bringing an elected official into the church and being more involved with the politics of the world, that's the number one sign that says you got to get the heck out of there. Another thing, if your pastor is a woman, get out of there. When things hit the fan, that woman is not going to know what to do. She's going to panic like everybody else. With all due respect. Verse 12, if you don't mind, brother.
And because iniquity shall abound, the love of many shall wax cold.
Exactly. So now your wolf pack gotta be tighter, smaller, more equipped, right? More. You need a Green Beret unit, right? You could have a large church, a large body, which is great, but with more people, more problems. But when you are a church, you don't want the quality. I mean, you're not looking for. You should not be looking for the quantity. Look how many members we have. Look how big we are. You're looking for the quality of the membership. And when a church is growing too big and is not establishing the right order, that's when you have this order. That's when you have a scenario that's the wrong place to be. Because there is a lot of weak links. They're going to give you up. They're going to betray you. The love is going to wax cold, and all kinds of betrayal is going to happen. That's why you should choose your friends carefully. You should choose your inner circle carefully. Whoever you sleep with, whoever you spend your home with, your same roof, you gotta make sure they're not your enemy. And sometimes it may be even your children. That happens a lot. A child that he's in his teenagers, 21, 22, early 20s, out there gang banging, not doing right. You got to get that young. You got to tell that man, listen, it's my way or the highway. Because sometimes mothers get soft and weak. Oh, let him back in the house. He's my baby. And he just, killed 3 people down the block and you don't even know about it. And they'll shoot at the house just because they're looking for him. Sometimes you have to cut some people that you love. Men, you have to make sure that your surroundings are safe, and the people that are that you allow to come into your inner circle are there for your best interest, and you there for their interest. And you are a team and united, and you know what you need to do if thing hits the fan. Verse 13, brother, if you don't mind.
Yep. But he that shall endure unto the end, the same shall be saved. And this gospel of the kingdom shall be preached in all the world for a witness unto all nations, and then shall the end come.
Then you notice Christ says, then shall the end will come. The gospel, the truth has to come out globally as a witness. Why did Christ say this? As a witness. The term witness is a legal term when you're dealing with a trial or you're dealing with a case that you need to come in and bring a witness, evidence. So when Christ is judging everyone, the witnesses that brought the gospel to that person will come up and say, yeah, I taught the truth to that brother. I had a 2-hour conversation. We had a biblical conversation in the scriptures, and I showed them all the scriptures. You have to repent. You have to keep the commandment. You have to accept Christ as your Lord and Savior, right? So there could be no excuse. And brothers, if you're dealing with people that you constantly have to go and constantly argue over the scriptures and things of that nature, you already did your job. Whether they received it or denied it, you did your job. There is their job to receive it or not. Don't be in a situation you're constantly arguing with your brother, with your wife, with your cousin, with your friend. Look at this scripture. Look at that scripture. Because you are feeding that brother and that person information they could use against you. Right? Oh, yeah, that brother says something that, America's going to fall or something that America's Babylon. Yeah, they believe. They'll feed the authorities all the information about what you believe because you've been spending 5, 6, 7, 8 months trying to convert this brother or sister. And you just feed the information. You drop the word, and they don't receive it, shake the feet of the dust of your feet and keep it moving. Right? Because everybody that believed the word, everybody that received the word, right? You instantly accepted it. You instantly said, you know what, this makes sense. I always knew something was wrong in my church. I always knew somebody was lying to me. I always knew something was, this is what it is. And you may not have all the information right away, but instantly you say, you know what? You're right. I always felt we have to keep the Sabbath. I always felt that we were God-chosen people. I always felt that the law was not done away with. I never accept this blonde-haired, blue-eyed Jesus Christ, this European version of Christianity. That never sat right with me. Instantly, nobody has to pull your arm or twist your arm to believe it. You quickly believe it because you were chosen. You was called, right? Many are called, but few are chosen. So we have to, really wrapped up, and we're getting close to the so-called New Year's. We all know the New Year's really is coming on springtime, but we have to really wrap up because something is. I could be wrong. I'm not a prophet. I'm not saying God is revealing anything to me, but I'm looking at all the signs, and I'm doing what God in Christ told us to do. Watch, because when you see all these signs, right? Or when you see the season coming in, when the leaves are falling, that you know when the season is changing. The fall is coming, right? And you notice that Christ used the scenario of the leaves. Matter of fact, get that scripture when it says when the leaves, it's right there. Let me see the prophecy. When you see, but pray that the flight be not in the winter, right? Neither in the Sabbath. And then it says, it goes in when you see the leaves fall from the tree, right?
What verse is that?
Let me get it. 32. Let's go to 32.
All right.
Let's go to 32, right? Sometimes you got to pick it up. If he's trying to give us a clue, because he says, take heed, right, that your flight be not in the winter, but then he bring this parable. See if you guys pick it up, this particular parable, right?
All right, it's Matthew chapter 24, verse 32. Now learn a parable of the fig tree. When his branch is yet tender, and putteth forth leaves, ye know that summer is nigh.
Right. So he's using seasonal terminology, right? To bring forth the understanding, right? It says, verse 33.
So likewise ye, when ye shall see all these things, know that it is near, even at the doors.
Even at the door. So he's using seasonal terminology, but then he also says, be careful that your flight is not in the winter, neither in the Sabbath. Why he's is and when you notice historically, the enemies used to attack us on the winter, 70 AD. They used to wait until the snow locks down the gates because the Hebrews used to lock the gates right before the Sabbath. So if it starts snowing Friday night, Saturday morning, we cannot shovel the snow out. So they lock us in, right? So and when you look at within people of color, our immune system is weaker in the winter because we are darker skinned. We need more vitamin D, right? We're not in our best strength in the winter. So you gotta constantly read these scriptures to see if the Most High doesn't open your eyes or reveal a new understanding. Anybody else wants to add to anything I just said?
Well, I mean, we gotta look at Project 2025 from a few different angles. They could be just giving us a glimmer of hope, and knowing that America is going to be destroyed before then anyway. They could be looking to divide us even further. They could be trying to, get some type of support for something within that article, knowing that most of it is just going to be thrown away anyway, just to get that one thing that they really want out of it.
Yeah.
There's a few different ways to look at it. I mean, what's the saying? I think you said it a few broadcasts ago, but it was the road to hell is paved with good intentions.
Yeah.
I don't believe that is necessarily, created with good intentions. I feel like Project 2025 is created with, deception in mind. So
yeah. Yeah. And like I said, I truly believe that, I grew up believing or being taught that everything is planned, right? The Illuminati, the powers that be, the people that are in charge, it's all a plan. I am no longer believing that 100% every case. I believe there is a battle or a struggle within the powers that be. Christ says a nation divided cannot stand. So I believe what is happening now, there is an inner struggle within the ideology. And you have the white Christian, Protestant blue bloods trying to reestablish the order that made this country great. Now, great doesn't mean righteous or wicked. It just means great, powerful, right? The leading, right? So they're trying to go back to that situation. I think the left, right, the deep state, they're trying to bring their agenda, right? And I believe there is a struggle within the powers to be. I believe Israel got their agenda. The Vatican has their agenda, and I think the top families are now in the middle of a war. Who's going to be the next superpower? They're trying to control. China's trying to be. Russia's trying to be. And we, people that are going God's way, men that are going God's way, we need to have our own agenda and plan it out. And I don't believe everything is a plan, a setup. I think we're in the middle of a war. There is people being exposed, and I think you have people that are been protected and have lived very, I would say, immoral lifestyle, right? And now that's being exposed, and they're fighting tooth and nail to protect what they build. but their sins and their freakiness is catching up to them. That David Epstein, I know they're supposed to be, his list supposed to be coming out next year. I know they approved of his black book and his associates. That's supposed to be coming out. I think there is a struggle between the powers that be. What we have to do is just get out the way, let them fight it out, but we have to come up with our own plan. Yeah, go ahead.
Have you seen the movie Leave the World Behind?
I did, yes, sir. I did.
You know, that's like a pretense to like a Red Dawn, so to say.
Yeah.
Like China or Korea. Well, China is supposed to be invading America.
Yeah.
If America is having a civil war, people are just so self-absorbed with which side is going to win. I think that's the perfect conditions to be invaded anyway. I think that's something we need to be more concerned about too, actually.
Right, but you notice in the movie, right, that you have one flyer that was being shipped out or dropped in Chinese and another flyer in Arabic, right?
Right.
And remember there was a scene with the brother and the husband, Julia Roberts, were in the car because the son was sick, and the gentleman the black brother he worked in finance, I believe.
Yeah.
And he was a consultant dealing with finance and so forth, so on. And he was describing how they put a fundamental, what would you call that word? A book together, or a hypothetical scenario. What will be the best way to destroy a nation? Right? Disinformation, make them go against each other,
cyber attack.
Yeah, cyber attack, remove all information or access to information, right? Disorientation, right? So that movie was trying to show either what they're preparing us for what's coming, or that movie was established to scare us to think that's what's coming, but they're coming with something else, right? It's like it's a betting switch, so you have to kind of look at it objectively, right? But you cannot fall for the trick, right?
Right.
And the best way to deal with a situation, to resolve all issue, or protect yourself from any scenario, you have to be self-sufficient, off-grid, have a trusted team of loyal brothers that will look out for you and you will look out for them, and you can survive this, right? The people in the Amazon, right, when the world collapses, they're not going to probably be affected. They're so close to the ground. They're so, live so close to nature, it's not going to affect them. That's why, especially men that are living in family, that are living in big cities, everything is a phone call away. Everything is technology. Everything, you rely on technology. You have to start getting used to camping, learning how to camp, learning how to survive, learning how to, getting into the different technology and buying things, because is when the dollar collapses, is what you have is what's going to be valuable, right? So if you have a solar power generator, that's going to be gold, waiting gold in the future.
Right.
Right? If you have a farm, chicken, eggs, seeds, if you have the skills to hunt, that's going to be gold. So these are the things that I'm hoping to start implementing with Men Going God's Way, getting a gun club, getting a hunting club, getting teaching ourselves how to live closer to nature, because society is collapsing. We don't know when, we don't know how, but we do know it's going to happen.
Yeah.
Well, brothers, thank you for, lending me your ear on this rent. I'm going to hope after the new year, the so-called New Year's cleared out, we're going to have a meeting and start meeting again and so forth, so on. I'm going to try to plan a camping trip because for the winter. I never went camping in the winter. You guys ever been camping in the winter?
Other than tabernacles, no.
I'm talking about winter, snow, 3-4 feet of snow.
I mean, it it wasn't snow, but I camped several months outside to get the experience of doing without a lot of things. And when it's cold out there, it's a different beast because you have to sleep every night with a cap on your head and socks on your feet, or you will end up waking up with a head cold. So
Yeah.
yeah.
I never done it before, so I want to do it for the first time. So I'm gonna put them together. We're gonna probably after the New Year so-called, we're gonna probably have a quick meeting to iron all that out and so forth, so on. But yeah, we're gonna definitely do it, brother. Thank you for lending me your ears. Thank you for joining, the show, and please make sure you brothers like and subscribe. A lot of people tell me, "Goodbye, I didn't know you was on. I don't get notification, but make sure you like and subscribe because they are shadow banning me because when you say certain words, it becomes a situation that they shadow ban you. They don't want certain discussions to be promoted. So make sure you like, subscribe, promote the show. Talk to your friends and tell them, hey, look at this guy. He has something to say, and because we need to, spread this gospel, spread this news. I think not enough churches are discussing these type of conversations. Not a lot of churches are preparing for the collapse. They're talking about it, but they're not doing anything. And shout out to those that are doing something, right? I'm not saying all, but I'm saying the majority are not enough are talking about it, right? But it starts with at home. It starts with, relationship. It starts, who's your partner? Who's you sleeping with? Who knows you best? Who's you most vulnerable? If they want to get to you, who they could get to first, right? And those are the conversations you need to have with your wives, with your children, with your inner circle, and so forth, so on. Sometimes you have homes that you have several generations living in the same home. You got grandfather, grandma, the spouse, the children, and they're not always getting along. They're all over the place. Sometimes you have to start having a hard conversation with yourself and say, if my family is going to be compromising what we're trying to do, what I'm trying to do here. And only you could answer that question. Only you could answer that question. So,
Right.
yeah, brother. Any last words before we end the show?
Just brothers. All I can say is keep the Most High first. Follow the law, statutes, commandments, keep the Sabbath, and just keep doing what you're doing and prepare. Don't do no frivolous spending on things that have meaninglessness to it. Get things that will help you survive for the future. I'm gonna leave it like that.
Amen. Thank you, brother Ricky. You're always supporting and brother, you're more than welcome to come on the Zoom. I have to Zoom, and because I want to start in the future, start having like a round table discussion, talking about different subjects. Maybe getting like about 5 or 6 brothers, and we could have different discussions, and we could maybe invite women. They may disagree with us. We could maybe have a respectful conversation because this is how we get to people. This is how we engage. We start putting walls and sometimes that's not good. Sometimes walls are good, and you should have some walls, but sometimes you open a little door and just have a conversation where people may disagree with you. Well, thank you, brother Ricky, for sharing your thoughts.
Shalom, brother.
Shalom.
Shalom, y'all.
All right. So, all right, brother. Well, thank you for lending me your ear, lending me your time. I know I know you was dealing with your family. I know you had issues, or you had issues, but the Most High is dealing with some healing within your family. So I do appreciate it. And I do give all praise to the Most High for making sure keeping your family whole and sound.
Yes, sir. Praise the Most High.
All praises. Well, thank you, brothers, and thank you you guys for sharing and maintaining. May the Most High keep you, and may the Most High bless you. Shalom.
Shalom.
Wait, let me get this here. And here we go. Peace and blessings. Shalom.